midweek. There's only 2 working days left.
Okay.
So it's not
Okay.
it's
All
not
right.
fresh anymore. And the week has started on the best note. So last night,
Mm-hmm.
whilst men slept,
And
USA
women
was
were awake.
USA was brushing Ghana like who stole meat in the market. It was the most beautiful sight. Halftime 4-0.
Almost.
It was the sweetest sight ever seen. So, so the day started on a fantastic note.
Tega,
And yeah.
no, they need a background to this overboiling excitedness of yours. They
There-
need to know.
there's no background. USA
Okay.
played Ghana and they brushed them. It's
Okay.
that
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
So, but the match ended 4-0, which means that
Okay.
USA came out in the second half
Yes.
and took their foot off the accelerator, and maybe
Mm.
Ghana defended a little better. But yes, it was a beautiful thing. Um, that was what was going on one side on the planet. On the
Yes.
other side on the planet, all week people have been talking about Messi and the Ballon d'Or, and
Mm-hmm.
some Cristiano Ronaldo fans had been trying to hype their man,
Yes.
talking about the goals that he was scoring. Last night, Messi put on a masterclass. No
Mm.
penalties involved, though. He
Okay.
scored his own brace without penalties. Beautiful goals.
Okay.
So, Cristiano Ronaldo fans, I just wanted to greet you specially. Are you
Uh-huh.
doing well? Is
Okay.
everything fine?
Oh
And
my
on that
God.
note, let's tell people how we can be a part of the locker room, because we'll be talking about all those friendlies and European qualifiers
Wise.
as we go on in the show. But Omatseye, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room today?
Now, to be part of the conversation this morning inside the locker room, we expect you to send WhatsApp messages to 0809-444-0981. Once again, send WhatsApp messages to 0809-444-0981. We also look forward to read all of those wonderful messages you would send to us on our YouTube platform. Search for us on youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave us a message. We're sure to pick those up also. That said, Tega, table set.
All right, table set. So let's go.
And let's begin with the Super Eagles, where we see that Super Eagles overcame stubborn Mozambique, after their 2-2 draw with Saudi Arabia in an international friendly to get a win over Mozambique at the Estadio Municipal de Albufeira.
I think you should have run through all. Well, let's just do this.
Okay, let's go. Okay, Mozambique took the game to Nigeria from the first whistle, with Nigeria being pinned back inside their own half during the opening stages of the game. The home side eventually took the lead in the 6th minute as Jenny Katamo opened the scoring with a left-footed shot inside the Super Eagles area.
So huge results against Mozambique. For Mozambique, not for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Because you remember when the Super Eagles played Saudi Arabia, the question was not necessarily about scoring, even if Jose Pesero tried to make it about, finishing off the chances they created. It was the fact that they considered 2 goals against Saudi Arabia, and cheap ones at that, and the goalkeeper coming into question there. But Mozambique match, Jose Pesero made it about goal scoring. We need more goals. And I agree, we have to be clinical in front of goal. When you create chances, try and finish as many of them off as possible. But the real problem is in that defense and in that goalkeeping department, especially. Because 7 minutes into the match against Mozambique, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria conceded another howler. Goalkeeper went to a completely different side of the goalpost. The ball went to another side, and everybody was just like, "Oh my God, only 7 minutes!" And against Mozambique, we're already conceding this kind of goal. And so, yes, despite the fact that Nigeria bounced back and scored 3 goals, the thing is, the goalkeeping department doesn't give you any confidence at all. And, fans then, again, complaining about the goalkeeper. And this time, the goalkeeper took out his sweet time to make a video and was telling people if he easy, make una do am. No, honey. I didn't ask you to be a sports pundit because that's not what you're trained for. I asked you to be a better goalkeeper because that's what you're trained for. Unfortunately, he's not delivering. A part of the problem could be match rustiness. He's not playing, he's not featuring in as many games for his club sides as he should. And there can be that rustiness that comes with not playing quite regularly. But the response for me, you had time to clap back. If you paid attention to your goalkeeping the same way you paid attention to your clapping back, we will be having this conversation. So I think he's focusing on the wrong thing. So he needs to calm down. There was no need for the clap back. I understand that fans can be feisty and sometimes feel like that they push beyond they should. But especially when you're making mistakes like that, I don't think the response should be clapping back. I think your response should be, if you get a chance to perform for the Super Eagles again, you put on a masterclass. Don't do video for us. You are not an artist.
Okay, and it's not even doing blogging. So why are you doing
you understand? You're not a blogger. Your job is to be a goalkeeper. Do that one well. If you do that one well, there'll be no need for video.
Okay. Probably this looks like a fine place for us to drift away to the next round there. It will be for boxing, where Alpine, Rory McIlroy, and Anthony Joshua invest in Formula One team as golfer.
Right. So Rory McIlroy and Anthony Joshua have become the latest to invest in the F1 team Alpine, and their whole idea. Ryan Reynolds is also part of those that have invested in it already. Their entire idea is to try and get as many superstar investors so that they can increase the popularity of their team. But I would like to break it to them just so that they are clear. As much as you can catch the attention of fans and bring the attention of fans to F1, you may lose those fans to the team that's actually winning. Because imagine I decided I'm going to watch Formula One, because Ryan Reynolds and Rory McIlroy and Anthony Joshua have bought, and Trent Alexander-Arnold have bought shares in the team. And I'll get to the team, and I'm watching the cars over the weekend, and I'll see Mercedes, and I'll see Red Bull, and I'll see McLaren. I'm most likely going to support the winning team. So the truth of the matter is that the best way to get fans to support your team is not just by getting superstars in F1, it's by actually winning championships. So, I mean, it's interesting that they're getting more eyes on F1, but at the end of the day, they may end up getting more eyes on F1 for other constructors and not for them, because they're not winning anything. As much as, they're getting people buying into it. I mean, it's not necessarily about money, because an F1 team, there's always investors looking to buy into the team. However, they're really looking for star power so that they can increase popularity. Problem is,
except it's NFL, the NFL somewhere where one of their drivers will be dating a singer, probably who comes in to watch the games every other time. So, but anyway.
But they will come out. They'll come and watch the races, and then they will follow McLaren.
Okay. Tega, no. All right, looks like a fine place. Let's drift away now to the to FA, to Italy now, because this issue, you were passionate about it. You called for a jail term for people who indulge in this kind of behavior. But let's see what it is. The Nicolo Fagioli banned for 7 months for betting breaches by Italian FA. That's what the latest is coming from that area now. Fagioli was given a 12-month ban.
Yeah, so but he has a 7 month. That's in official news. He had a 7 month ban. Now, let me address this issue, because a lot of players are just obsessing with this betting issue. Now, here's what's even tricky about Italy's own. Betting is legal in Italy.
Okay.
They actually made betting legal in Italy. The only thing was that you had to bet through approved websites, because I'm sure they had a way of doing it. Maybe they can get benefits from this, but you can bet, but you have to bet through approved websites. Now, in order for Fagioli to break this law, for Fagioli, and in fact, they said there are about 40 cases, so not just him. There are about 40 cases, but he's the one that they're handling immediately. In order for him and these other people to be involved in this criminal action, they had to have been betting on an illegal betting site. This is why I say the greed is too much and there has to be jail term, which there is in Italy. So you're not just betting, which is legal. You're not betting on an illegal betting website, which is why there's a problem here. Fajoli now comes out to say that he was on his own. No, Tonali was the one that gave him the link. Now, Tonali is the Newcastle, well, he's now Newcastle player, who came out immediately to say that he has a gambling addiction. Immediately the news came out, he knew he was guilty.
Before they pick him up.
Yeah, his PR firm quickly came up with a solution that he has an addiction and they are going to put him in rehab because there's I think a 2-year jail term for betting on an illegal website. They quickly came out with PR that he has an addiction, making it look like a disease, that he's already going to rehab, and he did this apology. So even if Tonali was the main culprit, and he seems to be the one that shared the link to other people, Tonali's judgment has not yet come out. But
Tonali he just shares updates everywhere it goes. That's it.
But his PR is on point. Immediately, they quickly said he has a gambling addiction. It's a disease. It's not a crime. And I'm just in shock of what's happening. So we are waiting to see how this pans out. But yes, it is a serious case, and more players are getting involved now. And that's why I say there has to be severe consequences, like a jail term. And one player has to go to jail. If one player just goes to jail,
Tega is still on this jail term.
No, jail is important. I think everybody will say, because what it means is that now you're suspending them, so they're still living freely, and they're still they may not be getting paid, but they're enjoying the money of the payment that they had since. If I think about it, Ivan Toney got more popular. He did a full interview while he was serving suspension for betting. So you're now a rock star instead of a criminal. It's just rubbish.
Multiple income sources, some would say.
It's just rubbish.
Okay.
All right. So on that note, we'll be looking at your messages when we come back from the break, because I can see that we are almost at that break.
Very true. So when we come back, we'll look at messages. So send all of those to 0809 444 0981. Once again, 0809 444 0981. Send all the messages into the locker room on the WhatsApp platform. And also be sure to go over to a YouTube platform, search for us on youtube.com/Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave messages there. We will pick them up when we come back. We're Smooth 98.1 FM. Tega Onojiafe still in the locker room. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa.
Grooving music on Smooth 98.1.
Are messages coming in? Do we have messages?
This is National Healthcare Limited, the market. Hey, my people, how are they? You know the times got hard. With higher than food, don't just for Nigerians them. What a reliable fridge, freezer, or any other appliances. So I have a food there for you. What an option with the last kakaraka. I have a food there for you. What an appliance when they consume too much electricity. I have a food there for you. But now, I have them food don't land with another promo. Put them call me there for you. From now to this November 30th, 2023. If you buy anything for higher than food, then go summon you for top. Free standing cooker, free microwave, free air fryer, free AC installation, even more awoof day. For more to visit any authorized dealer or www.temucool.com.ng. Make yourself begin to enjoy your own awoof. Terms and conditions may do. Temucool, always there for you.
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Provid Bank for you. To take care of your daily experiences at Providence Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a
Hello, Tega.
please speak with our business concierge on 0700.
I can hear you.
Okay, so when we come now, picking WhatsApp messages and just
Yes. Yeah, we start from WhatsApp messages so that more people will send messages.
Right, noted.
Providence Bank. Future forward banking.
Hello, this is Jessica Bongos, and you're listening to the Smooth Breakfast Show.
We're Smooth 98.1 FM is still the locker room with Tega Onojiafe as we look at all of the sports stories inside the locker room. Call it the postmortem as it is, and Tega is just hitting it everywhere. You would think she's having a hammer, and everything that comes inside is a nail. She hits it straight on the head. Tega,
I'm having too much fun. Ghana lost. I'm too happy this morning. All right, before we do anything, let's just start with the messages from the locker room.
All right. Emeka Honelum comes up with a message for us on WhatsApp saying, see, Super Eagles is in urgent need of a goalkeeper. Please, if you know anyone that can catch a ball, be it your brother, nephew, uncle, even ex-boyfriend, kindly tell them to apply to the NFF immediately. 200 million, 200 million Nigerians, and we don't have a goalkeeper now. Wow. And then, I don't know what it. Let's move on. AY from Mondiru comes up with a message here saying sacrificing hours of sleep to stay up to watch, just to watch Lionel Mercy is always worth it as he never disappoints. And then come 30th October, Lionel Mercy will be delivered. The 8 golden ball with will be added to his individual trophy catalog. I will be there. AY from Oniru. And then comes Tayo Omatseye. I saw what you did there. That was swift, right? Anyway, well, someone was checking up on their interest there. When Ivan Toney did his own, it was a disgrace to football. How do we describe Fagioli and Tonali's own? Tonali just wanted his referral bonus, but he's had to out himself with his addiction. I won't be surprised that his agent was aware of this before investigation. An educate's message is what I'm looking at right now. Wait till up to 40 players involved in this tier betting thing. In Italy, Sandro Tonali seems to be the godfather, Don Corleone, as he has all the links to the betting sites.
I don't know that he's the one that gave all 40 of them, but Fagioli said it was Tonali that gave it to him.
Then it goes on. So we have it on good authority that the US national team and Senegal were listening to Locker Room, #LockerRoom981 on Friday as they delivered the goods for Tega to roast Ghana and Cameroon as she wishes, even though Uzo happened to us at all.
So happened to us, but I was consoled by the loss of Ghana. That loss of Ghana is greater than the goals that Uzo considered.
Shayi sent in a message here. Shayi says, una too dey overdue for this country. The players' mental health matters too, even though they're billionaires in Naira terms. As he clapped back at Nigerians, it is sweet me for body. That's the language most Nigerians understand. For a country that thinks they are very good at football, how many Nations Cups have Nigeria won? Nigeria is in the same WhatsApp group as England. At least England doesn't pay lip service to other sports. We should put our sports ministry in order. Sheyi sent that one in.
Sheyi, after we finish clapping back, you cannot shame me for Nigeria not winning AFCON. I'm not a footballer. Do you know who you can shame for Nigeria not winning AFCON? Francis Uzoho in goal. All right, okay. So on that note, let's go to the next story. See, he has led us very well straight to England.
Okay, England, I thought we're looking at, okay, yeah, Italy Spalletti laments crucial errors as Italy coach Luciano Spalletti said his team needed to learn from their mistakes after a 3-1 defeat to England in Group C left the holders scrambling to secure qualification for Euro 2024.
All right, he keeps saying that they made crucial errors as if there are only 3, errors that led to the game. But it was a complete outclassing of Italy by England, especially in the second half. First half was a bit back and forth, with England finishing stronger. But the second half, it was really England playing good football and Italy just surviving the 45 minutes. Horrible display. Like I said on Monday, that England was always going to come back at Italy, especially because of the fact that Italy defeated them to win the Euros. Italy did not let it come home. So this was going to be the opportunity. Yes, they wanted to qualify for the Euros, but they were always likely going to qualify from their group. But most importantly, was going to I think their other ambition was to make it harder for Italy to qualify to the Euros, and they did a fantastic job. Especially when you watch the goals that they considered. There's still questions about the penalty that was given to Harry Kane, no doubt. However, England would still have won the match because they were completely brilliant, and Italy were just basic at best. And especially the third goal, I have never seen the one thing you talk about Italy about is their defensive prowess and their defensive capabilities. But yesterday it was a horror show. All the years of defensive abilities, came down to 2 moments of Bastoni and Scaloni just shaming Italy. I think the one that was upsetting was Bastoni. Harry Kane swatted him like a fly. Like both of them were going for the same ball. Harry Kane didn't even need to do much. He just put one hand out and Bastoni flew to the other end of the pitch as if somebody kicked him. Horrible defending posture. But at the end of the day, England has qualified at the expense of Italy. They'd be excited about that revenge. But for Spalletti, there's a lot to do. They have the betting scandal going on. Now they have the defensive scandal going on. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to dig themselves out of a hole anytime soon. So it's a tough one for Spalletti, but wait to see how he can handle this situation going forward.
Okay, before we go forward, I'd like to let the listener know they can be part of the locker room if they send the messages to 0809 444 0981. Once again, 0809 444 0981, reacting to any of the sporting stories we're breaking down inside the locker room. And that leads us still staying with the Euro qualifiers. Belgium versus Sweden, Euro qualifier abandoned as Van Dijk's penalty earns the Dutch the victory.
So this was on Monday evening. So Belgium was playing against Sweden. That was the match I was looking forward to seeing, but it had to be abandoned at halftime. First of all, we didn't know what was going on. We just saw players were not coming out after halftime, and then eventually the match was suspended. Turns out that 2 fans from Sweden were shot dead and others injured when a suspected pro-Hamas supporter, pro-Palestinian supporter, shot at people to revenge for what's happening in Gaza, which is really, really ridiculous, all the way in Belgium. So the loss of lives, at first it looked like it was only the Swedish players that didn't want to come out, but even when the Belgian players heard about it, they're like, this is not a good night to come and continue playing football. So we even had a message from UEFA saying the match has been suspended and more will be communicated to us on that. So we're waiting for the more that will be communicated, but it's a sad loss. And we pray for those that have lost their souls. This is just really a sad occurrence. Which now takes me back to Dutch. Now, the Dutch were now playing in Greece and a horrible display. They struggled all night on every front. But they eventually got a penalty that got them a goal. Look, at some point in time, the match was boring. The only time it was exciting was the VAR decisions, because every time there was VR decisions, the crowd would just go wild. It was crazy because we were debating: is it offside? Is it onside? Is it a penalty? Is it not a penalty? And everything. That was the drama. Nothing on the football pitch. Everything with VAR. At some point, I had to ask if the Dutch players were leaving straight from the stadium because it didn't look like they were going to have a good night with the way the Greek fans were reacting. But the Dutch labored. Van Dijk scored the penalty. That was the second penalty on the night. And then he was able to get the Dutch the 3 points that they really needed. Their next two fixtures are a little easier, but the 3 points that they really needed. So they are tied on points with Greece, but they have two easier fixtures coming up next. So good one for the Dutch getting back into the game.
And just relating to that Belgium game, it's been said now that the attacker who killed two fans at the stadium has been shot dead. And so that's
that was yesterday. Yeah, he was shot dead.
So this takes us now, still relating to sports and the issue in Israel. Our Elghazi, winger, suspended by Mainz over Israel-Gaza post.
All right. So, and this is a tricky one. I've said it at this point in time, with the way the war has gone, you cannot be pro-Palestinian or pro-Israeli. You have to be pro-peace. At this point in time, I don't care what your biases lie, because in this particular war, it's been horrific. And whilst you want to blame Israel for being the bigger nation that is retaliating with all these things, you also have to ask, why did Hamas attack Israel? At some point, look, you started a war. And so now people are dying on both sides that they didn't even need to die. And I think for a lot of people that are taking sides, I understand where you are coming from, but again, you cannot take one side, because for it to get to a war, there is no right person. Once a matter gets to a war, it means both sides have committed heinous offenses. In a war, there's only victim and beneficiaries. There's no right person. So you cannot be pro anything. You have to be only pro peace. And the post he put out, I would say this: he was pro Free Palestinian, but it sounded like pro Hamas. So ultimately, I don't think it was a right post to put out. I would say this: if you want to put out a post as an athlete, as a public figure, as a person of interest in this, the best post you need to put, go and look at Gigi Hadid's post. I think her post completely encapsulates everything that's happening in the Middle East right now. Because Gigi Hadid has always been pro-Free Palestine. But for this particular incident, her post was complete. It just covered every single basis of the war. And I think as a public figure, as an organization, as a human being involved or thinking about human rights, that is the stand you should take. You have to be pro-peace at this point in time. So I think ultimately the club also has to put in some leniency, understanding why people have the biases they have. But I also think that people need to be wise when they're putting out their posts. That Gigi Hadid's post is the best post ever.
And our final sports story here: France wipe out Scotland's early lead with 4 goals of their own in Lille, as we saw.
All right. So this was a friendly. It was always going to be France, coming out victorious in this one. The question was, by how many goals and how resolute will Scotland be? Unfortunately for Scotland, they were not resolute enough. Mbappe and co completely obliterated them. In other news, let's just touch on the last story. Neymar got injured again yesterday. And again, it was a tackle by the opposition. So you begin to question, when is Neymar going to actually feature for the club that has paid all these billions for him? Because he hasn't played for his club. He eventually gets fit. He puts on his national team jersey and somebody tackles him, and we are hearing it's a bad knee sprain so far. So his club side must not be happy.
This takes us to our final messages this morning, as got Ibukun from K2 saying, Tega, you cannot help Uzo by saying he's rusty. going by his performances for Nigeria, then it has always been rusty. I hope his agent will not say he's addicted to letting in cheap goals. As for the Stars, as for our neighbors, the Stars, the Black Stars investing. So as for the Stars investing in F1, it's like Ponzi scheme. Their money is gone. Otilo, the Fajoli is not loyal at all. Such a squealer. Ibuku for K2.
If you're the one that has jail term, would you squeal? All right, on that note, we have to round up on the locker room because we are way past time. Thank you so much for sending in your messages. Thank you so much for being part of the locker room. We hope to meet you again on Friday when we do this one more time. For now, Omatseye, take over.
Have a great day, Tega. Well, that's the wrap on the locker room this morning. Let's do it again on Friday. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.
My name is Ola Onabule.